79-68. Once again, they bring it down to 11 and Knecht right back to. And Knecht gonna fire it up again. Got it! On fire! Knecht 4 for 3.
Back hoops taught Knecht. They've got to do something different.
Another one! Another one! Another one! Dalton Knecht!
Same spot.
Thought about it.
He's going
feeling it.
He's going
on its way. Down it goes! Down it goes! Yes, sir!
Show off a little bit, Dalton.
Look at LeBron for the Lakers.
Oh, they had it set up again.
Here he goes, trying it again! Unreal!
Uh-oh.
All right, good morning, everybody. I mean, why should I talk? There's times where there's no need to say anything. Sometimes you got to let things just marinate. I wanted to give Dalton Knecht an opportunity to kind of start off the show. What am I going to interrupt Dalton Knecht for? The dude's still out at Crypto.com banging threes for everybody. I'm not going to interrupt the poor man. The guy is on a heater right now. You want me to jump in the way of this heater? Thank you very much for tuning in. Good morning, everybody. God, it feels good to do this show. You know, it really does. I'm not lying here. I really kind of enjoy the show. Top of the morning to everybody. If you see some of the steam here, second cup of Joe. You know, sometimes I've been doing 1 cup of Joe and then tea. Now today I needed 2 cups of coffee. So I needed 2 cups of coffee. Hope everyone is having a great morning. Wednesday, November 20th at 8:02 a.m. I started at 8. I just kept my mouth shut for the first minute and a half or so while Dalton Knecht opened up the show. Thank you for being here. If you were here last night watching the post-game show, and then you're here this morning watching the SLI show, God bless you. God bless you. I don't know why you're doing that, but I appreciate you doing that. If you guys don't mind, what are we at now? 26.5 thousand subscribers. You guys have gone to work. A lot of people have been subscribing. A lot of people have been liking the channel, liking the show. And I appreciate you guys doing that. So if you don't mind, please subscribe to the channel. We got a packed show today. You know, something happened yesterday that actually it happened. Was it 2 days ago? Yesterday? I can't remember. Something happened kind of organically. Yeah, I was mentioning to you guys I was having a little bit of tea, that I was getting a little tea action in after my cup of coffee. And then next thing I noticed was the tea that I was having had this quote on it. And I'm like, you know what? Is that how we're going to start every one of our mornings? Maybe we could find a motivational quote. Maybe I read something off to somebody and somebody sits back and says, Al, you know what? That helped me for the rest of the day. So every morning, I'm going to do my research and try to find a good quote. I got a good one for this morning, and then we're going to get the show started. Don't ask directions from somebody who hasn't been where you want to go. Don't ask directions from somebody who hasn't been where you want to go. I've heard of this quote before. 100% I've used it before, and 1,000% I butchered it because I didn't read it like that. I was like, don't go if you go left and somebody turns right, then make sure that you U-turn. I don't know what the hell I was saying, but I think giving actual directions. Don't ask directions from somebody who hasn't been where you want to go. We'll keep that theme going as we get the morning started. Okay, read off a couple of these here. Let's see what we got here. Good morning, Big Slee. Hey, Al. Good morning to all of you guys as well. I woke up feeling blessed and proud of my Lakers. Okay, David, that's one way to put it right there. I like that. Happy Wednesday, Connect fans. Yeah, this dude is kind of taking over from a Laker perspective. That's for damn sure. All right, great post game last night. Thank you very much. All right, let's get started here. Let's get started here as we start the show. Okay, this is what I got today, and this is just a quick little bit of rundown. I want to spend a little time about Dalton Knecht's impact, the impact that this man can have on this team, the impact that this man can have on this Lakers roster, and how he's kind of changing the whole scope and the whole trajectory of what I think this Lakers team, what their potential is. I think it's certainly going to change when it comes to I think it's certainly going to change when it comes to potentially what happens at the trade deadline. I think there's a lot of things that can change specifically because of what Dalton Knecht's doing. So I want to spend some time talking about Knecht's impact. Did Rob Pelinka not just walk into the perfect predicament and the perfect situation? He's got to be feeling damn good about himself because he didn't trade that number 17 pick that everybody was telling him to trade. And Dalton Knecht obviously fell in his lap. But there's still, in my opinion, a lot of responsibility for Rob Pelinka. So I want to spend a little bit of time on that. I saw these last couple of days, there's been a lot of trade rumors around Lakers basketball, potentially going out there and getting a big, potentially, whatever the case is. Will D'Lo stay? Will D'Lo not stay? So I want to hit on that as well. And then I got a little bit of a gripe with the NBA. I don't understand these 2-minute reports. Does somebody want to explain to me what the hell is the point of these 2-minute reports? I don't know what it is, but I'll tell you guys what I'm talking about. Last couple of days, there have been all these 2-minute reports, and none of them have meant anything. And then I'm going to kind of quickly here, I won't spend too much time on it, but I am going to talk about Deion Sanders and him potentially going to the Dallas Cowboys. I just think that's entertaining. And then the last thing I'm going to mention, Wednesdays, Ask SLI. So if you don't know what Ask SLI is, very simple. You could throw out a question about anything. I'll start here as I see it. And as we go towards the end of the show, any Ask SLI questions you have, it could be about basketball, it could have nothing to do with basketball. It could literally be about anything you want. I think somebody last week was asking about, I think it was what kind of fries are the best fries. Another one was asking, hey, what's the ultimate goal of the channel? Whatever it is that you guys want to hit on, I'm going to hit on it. So thank you for hanging out here on the show. Okay, let's get things started. So here's the one thing that I'm going to say. I'm going to say that, the Dalton Knecht effect that I'm talking about. Listen, it's cool watching the guy do what he's doing. And for me, it's completely unexpected. And I know there's going to be, conversations out there and saying, Dalton Knecht should be rookie of the year. Okay, whatever happens, happens. I'm not watching the rest of the league, so I don't know if that's realistic or it's not realistic. I saw this morning, I was actually looking at what the rookie of the year odds are just to kind of see, okay, what is it? What are the teams that are or what are the players that are most likely to potentially win rookie of the year? He's 5th on that list. Now, that's going to keep growing because he's having a major impact on a team that's going to be competitive this year. So whatever happens, there happens. But to me, this is what I think I get more excited about watching what this kid is doing. Yes, he's only 23 years old, but he's also not 19. There's a big difference of how he can impact the Lakers because he is somebody that, clearly is ready for the NBA. Clearly his skill set he's not a project. You don't have to wait 2-3 years to see that this guy could potentially have an impact for the Lakers. Let me give you guys a good example here. Let's take the last couple of picks that the Lakers have had. Has Maxwell Lewis done anything for the Lakers? Has Jalen Hood-Schifino done anything for the Lakers? Has Max Christie done anything for the Lakers? Have any of those players that have been drafted by the Lakers, have any of them had impact on this Lakers team? They haven't. And frankly, I don't know how much impact we're expecting from them. We might throw hype around Max Christie and say, hey, this is his 3rd year. It was Darvin Ham's fault. Well, it probably wasn't Darvin Ham's fault. And I think JJ is going to continue to give him some opportunities. But Max Christie doesn't have what Dalton Knecht has in his bag. Jalen Hood-Schifino clearly is A, not a part of the Lakers' future, and B, doesn't have anything near what Dalton Knecht has in his bag. What gets me excited about Dalton Knecht, and the reason why I think he has such an important effect on the Lakers, they are desperate for a player like Dalton Knecht. Listen, the league is desperate for players like a player like Dalton Knecht. You got a dude that's a sniper from the outside. If he gets hot, watch out. In this short amount of games that we've got a chance to watch Dalton Knecht, and it really is just, obviously it's a tiny sample size, but in these games that we've already got to watch Dalton Knecht, you can't, and the rest of the league knows this, you can't leave this dude open. You can't, if you lay off, Utah was trying to run some type of a zone against the Lakers yesterday. That's not a good idea. Here's the effect that Dalton Knecht has on the rest of this team. The effect that he has is, out of nowhere, the Lakers just got a guy that's a real contributor that they didn't have to get through free agency. They didn't have to go trade for, that they didn't have to put, here's a guy taking up $20 million of your salary cap. None of those things happen. And you got a dude that's as impactful so far. I'll make the case, and again, the sample size is too small, but don't be surprised by the time we get to the All-Star break that we're saying, is he as impactful as Austin Reeves? Is he as impactful as a D'Angelo Russell? Is he as impactful as a Rui Hachimura? If we're even having that conversation about Dalton Knecht, that this dude is potentially as impactful as some of these other role players for the Lakers, that's not just found money. That changes everything for the Lakers. I mentioned this last night when I'm doing the post-game show. I mentioned that it was a fun post-game show to do, by the way. I think anytime you have situations like that or predicaments like that, there's already enough hype around Dalton Knecht, but then you have a game like that where he's just going off and he's doing what he's doing. It changes everything. Obviously, that makes it so much funner. But what I'm watching yesterday is, how can Dalton Knecht make Anthony Davis's life easier? How can he make LeBron's life easier? How can he make Austin Reeves' life easier? How can he make D'Angelo Russell's life easier? How can he make Rui Hachimura's life easier? And how can he make JJ Redick's life easier? I don't think anyone is negatively affected by Dalton Knecht. Here's what I mean by that. Is Dalton Knecht taking minutes away from D'Lo? I don't think so. Is he taking minutes away from Austin Reeves? I don't think so. Is he taking looks away from LeBron or Anthony Davis? I don't think so. I think what it does, and this goes back to how he's affecting this Lakers team and why I think this team all of a sudden is completely different now, because Dalton Effect is a real contributor on this team and a real threat on this team. What all of a sudden he's added to this team that they didn't have. Now Anthony Davis, all of a sudden, whoever's guarding AD and whoever's trying to help, you're like, all right, I got to worry about Reeves. Obviously, you got to keep an eye out where LeBron is. Of course, Cam Reddish is not a player that they have to worry about, but Cam Reddish is going to go. He's going to try to slash to the basket. He's got a specific role for the Lakers right now. Whether that changes with Vando down the road, we'll have to wait and see. But all of a sudden, Anthony Davis, whoever's guarding AD and whoever's helping, they cannot leave Dalton Knecht. Maybe that just gives Anthony Davis a little bit more space. LeBron, when he's coming up the floor and he's looking at what his options are. Okay, I got Anthony Davis, of course, arguably one of the best big men in the NBA right now. I got him at the block. I got Austin Reeves that could be a threat as well. But I also have, to start off the season, think about the different players that have played with LeBron over the years. Ray Allen, Mike Miller. Let me think of some other players that have been on this late. Danny Green, and that's not, it's just more of a kind of a spot-up shooter. All of a sudden, LeBron's got a real weapon that he can go to. So maybe somebody gives Dalton Knecht a little bit of breathing space, LeBron finds him. Maybe LeBron decides, well, they're overplaying Dalton Knecht. It actually just opens up the lane for me now. I could get to the basket a little bit easier. Okay, let's look at Austin Reeves. How does Dalton Knecht help Austin Reeves? Austin Reeves is basically asked, hey, we need 16 to 18 a night from you. Sometimes Austin Reeves might be forcing it. Sometimes Austin Reeves might have too many turnovers. Sometimes Austin Reeves is dribbling the ball and it's too much one-on-one ball. He's trying to get by somebody and he's not having success doing it. If now all of a sudden, guys, the lane opens up a little bit more, or Austin Reeves has a threat of passing the ball because Dalton Knecht is there. D'Angelo Russell, you saw some of these highlights. D'Lo is a natural passer. That's what he is. Whether you want him to score, whether you want him to take threes, however you think D'Angelo Russell is or he should be on this Lakers team, in his DNA, he's a distributor. He's got Dalton Knecht on his team now, and opportunities to dish the rock. Dalton Knecht said something. He said something yesterday in the postgame show, something about when he's checking in with D'Angelo Russell, D'Lo is saying, hey, I'm going to be looking for you. I believe him. That is D'Lo. That I think is part of D'Lo's game. The problem with D'Angelo Russell is either he's asked to do things that he's not all that comfortable with, or he's on the floor with LeBron and there's only one basketball for him to be a distributor. So that's the effect that I'm talking about. The effect that I'm talking about is he's making everybody else's life easier because his skill set, because he can go off in a game and go 9 of 12 from the three-point line, which is ridiculous. Guys, you know how ridiculous that is? I saw a lot of people yesterday putting up Klay Thompson's name in the chat. And, you know, you don't want to use that too loosely. We're talking about Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson is one of the best to do it at his position, one of the purest shooters in the history of the NBA. Catch and shoot. Now, the difference with Klay is one of the best two-way players in the league, and that's kind of what made Klay Thompson separate himself from everybody else. But Dalton Knecht was putting up Klay Thompson type of numbers. 9 to 12 from the three-point line, 12 of 16 from the field. I don't know what he is. Let me look at this actually real quick. I think this is going to be, if I can get this here real quick, because I want to see what his last 3 games are from the three-point line. Because I keep hearing the crew over at Spectrum Sportsnet mentioning it. They keep mentioning how he's shooting from the three-point line, how he's doing all this other stuff. Let me just see his last few games or so, what some of those stats look like. Okay, so their last 3 games is Utah, New Orleans, and San Antonio. Here's what he's shooting from the three-point line in those 3 games. I don't think this one has his actual stats. It just shows that he shot 75% from the three-point line against the Jazz yesterday, 50% against the Pelicans on Saturday, and then 50% on Friday from the three-point line as well. I think against New Orleans, Dalton Knecht was 5 of 10. So take the 5 of 10 that he was, the 9 of 12. So now you're 14 of 22 from the three-point line. And I'll tell you real quick what he shot in San Antonio. I don't think he took many threes against San Antonio, but if he's 14 for 22, add that last game, 2 of 4, 14, 16 of 26. He's 16 of 26 from the three-point line in his last 3 games. That's what I'm talking about with, I don't want to make comparisons to a guy like Klay Thompson, but the dude is putting up Klay Thompson type of numbers early in his career. That's incredible. Just incredible. If you're JJ Redick right now, you got to be feeling so good about what your options are. You took D'Lo out of the starting lineup, didn't hurt you. You took Rui out. You didn't take Rui out of the starting lineup. He hasn't been available. That hasn't hurt you yet. I actually don't know what they're going to do when he comes back. I don't know what they're going to do when Vando comes back eventually, but now all of a sudden you got a much deeper bench. You got other guys that you can depend on. You got other players that will be a little bit more focused on the defensive side. So it certainly gives the Lakers a ton of options. All right, let's read some of your comments here, and then as we keep going here, I want to spend a little time. I'm eventually going to talk about Rob Pelinka and the position that Rob's in. Knecht is a keeper for sure. Yeah, that dude ain't going anywhere. Thank you for the super, by the way. I appreciate that. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, not going anywhere. Definitely not going anywhere. I had somebody tell me yesterday in the chat, they were talking about how, what were they saying? They were saying something to the effect of, the front office is going to trade him. Yeah, he ain't going anywhere. He's not going anywhere for a number of reasons. He's not going anywhere because, A, Laker fans actually like him. He's not going anywhere because it would be idiotic to trade what one of the strengths are in the NBA, and you don't typically have those strengths. Lakers haven't had a sniper in forever. I saw somebody here, finally a real sniper on the Lakers. So something to keep in mind. He's not going anywhere for those reasons. Plus, his contract's going to be under a rookie contract. That dude ain't going anywhere. Don't worry about Dalton Knecht. The only thing I'd worry about is if you're trying to grab his jersey, if they've printed out enough of them yet. Dalton is opening up the floor for everyone, 100%. D'Lo plays better off the bench. I'm going to get into D'Lo. There were some reports out there about D'Lo. Maybe the Lakers are less hesitant to trade him because he's coming off the bench accepting his role. I don't believe that, but we'll get into that. I really didn't get a chance to do it yesterday when I was with Sammy talking a little Lake Show. Let's see what we got here. Slee, how does Knecht's game make Reeve and D'Lo's game easier on the offensive end? You got to have attention on Knecht. Guys, there's certain players in the league where you can't give them a second. You can't let them breathe. And if you did, look, yesterday's a good example. and you guys see this, how Dalton Knecht gets a shot off. While the ball is already coming, the dude could already be in rotation. It was one of the prettiest things I used to watch, and I'll use Klay Thompson as an example of this. One of the most just cold-blooded things is these guys that have a quick release. If I'm a player that was leaning towards helping on D'Lo or leaning towards helping on Austin Reeves, or Reeves got past his initial defender, I can't help off Dalton Knecht. Here's another way Knecht helps those two guys. D'Lo could. I'm going to continue to do this, and you guys know that I'm critical on D'Lo's game. I'm not the biggest D'Lo fan. I'm not. But this is one thing I like about D'Lo's game. That dude is not selfish. D'Lo wants to pass the rock. I don't think anybody has looked at D'Angelo Russell and said, you know what, this guy's just trying to get his. That's not D'Lo's game. That might be Kyle Kuzma, or that might be, think of other kind of players that have been on the Lakers in the past where you're like, yeah, this guy's just trying to get his own shot. That's definitely not D'Angelo Russell. D'Lo and Reeves now, all of a sudden, the burden doesn't have to be on them to go get 18 a night. If I'd have told you guys this is a trip to me, and I might have used this example before, but I'm going to use it again. If I'd have told you guys this, that there was a player, if I'd have said this a month ago, there's a player on the Lakers. I want to find the exact stat here. I wrote this down last night. I just thought I thought reading the entire stat line would kind of add a little bit of context to what I'm referring to here. Imagine if I did this a month ago. Imagine if I said, all right, guys, there's a Laker player that's dropped 37 points, had 5 rebounds, went 12 of 18 from the field. And I'm not even going to say the 3-pointers. You're going to say, damn, that's a great night for Anthony Davis. Damn, what a night for LeBron James. Dropped 37. Look at LeBron still making it happen. The only other player that I would say could potentially do this on this Lakers roster, if he's on an absolute heater, is D'Lo. D'Lo must have hit 7-8 threes then, right? Something must have happened for D'Angelo Russell to drop 37. And if I said it wasn't any of those 3 players, maybe you're going to say Reeves, but is Reeves really dropping 37? I'll tell you who nobody is picking. Nobody's saying Dalton Knecht is dropping 37 in an NBA game in his rookie year, 13, 14 games in, with 9 3-pointers. So when you ask, how does this help some of these other players? It helps everybody. It takes a burden off of all these guys. Now, maybe even too at the trade deadline, this is going to get me to my trade deadline stuff. Now maybe at the trade deadline, maybe you're not targeting a shooter anymore. Maybe now you're much more strategic with what you're targeting. Maybe you're targeting a two-way player, another wing, just to have some more length, or another guy that you can depend on. All right, let's keep this thing moving as we keep going here. Okay, so here's the other thing that I'm going to mention. I got here in my notes, if you guys can see, perfect spot for Pelinka. Let me tell you guys what I mean by that for a perfect spot for Pelinka. All right, there was a lot of heat on Pelinka in the summer. Guys, I'm just take a quick sip of my coffee. That's good coffee. Everybody right now, take a quick little break. Everybody right now. Everybody's doing a great job so far this morning. I feel like everybody came to work this morning. I feel like everybody's rolling up their sleeves. They're looking out for our society. They're out there. They're working hard. You know what this is? This is the equivalent of if you ever played pickup ball, you're slapping the floor and you're bending your knees and you're trying to play some defense. That's what we're doing this morning. Top of the morning to everybody. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka right now, this morning he woke up and he said, all right, I got 2 things that I want to accomplish this morning. This is what Rob Pelinka said. He said, I want to watch SLI from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And then at 9 a.m., sometimes 9:04, sometimes 9:02, sometimes 9:06. I don't know. And Rob knows that I can go 4 or 5 minutes past because it's YouTube. And I set my own clock. Okay. Rob Pelinka's waking up this morning and saying to himself, either he got very lucky, or you know what? Luck is just part of life. And sometimes you just, when luck is there, capitalize on it, because there's going to be some days you don't have luck. This is why Pelinka's in such a great spot. And I'm going to continue to put pressure on this guy because I do think it's very critical and it's important to talk about Rob Pelinka and what he does from here. Rob Pelinka, for the last year and a half, everybody's been saying, my brother. Really for the last, let's call it the last year, not year and a half. Yeah, I'm trying to think. They had the summer. They didn't trade. So, okay, no, let's call it year and a half. For the last year and a half, everybody's been telling Rob Pelinka, you got 3 first-rounders. Shop those picks. What are you doing? Like, what's the point of having – why do you have LeBron and Anthony Davis right now if you're not all in? And if the excuses want to pile up, you can't buy a house that's not for sale, nobody really wanted to hear it. And there's other teams, other front offices, other president of basketball operations out there that are making moves. The Oklahoma City Thunder are still making moves. Whether you like the move or you don't, Milwaukee made a move. Philly's made some moves. Boston made some moves. I'm talking about over the last year and a half. Other teams have improved their roster. They haven't ran the same team out knowing that there's not enough talent there to go win an NBA championship. So there's other teams out there making moves. Rob Pelinka woke up this morning and said, Dalton Knecht was one of those 3 picks that I didn't trade. And when the Lakers were eliminated, there was more pressure last year. You're out in the first round of the Denver Nuggets. Now there's even more pressure. You got to go shop those picks. NBA draft comes around. Lakers don't shop it. Number 17 falls. Lakers have the number 17 pick. Dalton Knecht falls to the Los Angeles Lakers. Even if he felt so good about Dalton Knecht, I don't think anybody thought there's a rookie out there right now that's having this much impact. Again, I'm not watching all the teams out there, so I know there's other NBA rookies out there that are shining. But Rob Pelinka is sitting there this morning and saying to himself, my number 17 pick hit. And it hit in a way that I could have never imagined. It's a shooter. It's a sniper. It's a guy that's ready to contribute right now, not 2, 3, 4 years from now. And oh, by the way, I still got 2 first-rounders. I got an expiring contract with D'Angelo Russell. I got a contract with Rui that might be movable. I got some other pieces like Jackson Hayes and Cam Reddish and who's the other? Christian Wood, guys that but their contracts up by the end of this year. I have a lot of movable pieces plus 2 first-rounders that are sitting next to me. And oh, by the way, my squad is 10-4. They actually look pretty good in the Western Conference. We're not digging ourselves a hole. I have the ability out here to potentially put my chest out and go to try to get whatever acquisition that is so that by the time we get to playoffs, the conversation is not going to be, are the Lakers going to be in the play-in tournament? Are they not going to be in the play-in tournament? The conversation could be, who are you picking in the West? The Thunder, the Nuggets, the Timberwolves, the Lakers. Just be a part of that conversation. Rob Pelinka's got to be sitting back right now and saying, all you idiots out there that were telling me to trade that pick, look what we got out of it. We got Dalton Knecht. And frankly, again, whether he got lucky or not, it's irrelevant. It's the position that he's in. It's the position that the Lakers are in. And he's certainly in a fantastic spot, which is going to put more and more pressure on him to go make it happen. I'm going to read you guys some of the rumors that are going on around the Lakers right now. So let me just take a look at some of these. Let me take a look at some of these comments here. I'm going to go back into it. Steal of the draft, art of the war. JJ Redick and LeBron knew way before the draft that Dalton can shoot. They saw him play in college. Daily Meditation, which by the way is a great YouTube name right there. Whether they knew it or not doesn't matter. Question was going to be, is he going to be available at number 17? You know, he was projected as high as number 6. I was looking at this today, and I was like, all right, what teams really screwed up when it came to their draft selection? So I was looking at a couple things. Right now, Rookie of the Year voting, they got Jared McCain, who's a stud. I don't know much about him, but he's the dude from Philadelphia. And he was actually drafted, if I'm correct, Dalton Knecht was taken number 17, and Jared McCain was taken number 16. He's at a Duke. So Jared McCain right now is the favorite. At least this was from, yesterday. By the way, this literally probably changed by this morning just because of what connected yesterday. Zachary Risasher was taken by the Hawks overall, number 1. He's second on the Rookie of the Year. Carlton Carrington was taken by the Wizards. I think he was top 10. Where was he taken? Number 8. No, he was not taken number 8. Where is he? He was taken number 14. So there are a couple guys. I mentioned Zach Edey as well. So he was obviously before him, before Dalton Knecht as well. So to answer your question, I don't think the question really is people thought he was good. I don't think people just thought he was going to drop to the Lakers and he was going to have that much impact. Okay, here are some of the trade rumors that are going on right now. This I'm going to kind of tie right back into Rob Pelinka. There are 2 trade rumors that are out there. One of them is, Shams mentioned this yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before on the Pat McAfee show. The Lakers are actively looking for a big man. Okay. Well, here's the beauty. You don't have to go get a shooter. You don't have to go get a 6'6" guard that is a sniper and that has no problem trying to get to the basket and has no problem, with the ability to potentially have a game where he could go 5 of 10 from 3 or hit 4 threes in a game, or hell, go 9 of 12 from the 3-point line. Check that one off your list. You don't need a player like that. So now if you're going after a Jonas Valanciunas, or you're going after a Brook Lopez, or you're going after one of these other big men, you don't have to worry about what Dalton Knecht brings to the table. Okay, that's got to make the life of Rob Pelinka a little bit easier. There was a report a couple days ago as well. I'm going to read this one off here. I'm going to kind of transition here to D'Angelo Russell. The Lakers might become reluctant to trade D'Angelo Russell. They might hesitate at that. Why? Because now all of a sudden he's coming off the bench. Probably feels like this is the best role for D'Angelo Russell is for him to come off the bench. What, they play 8 games as a starter and then quickly realized, yeah, this isn't working. And part of that is not D'Lo's fault. Well, D'Lo wasn't playing well. He wasn't shooting well either. His defense with Austin Reeves was, I don't even have to sit here and we don't have to talk about that. We all know how that defense was. But I think part of the other reason why they said, let's move this guy off to the bench is because he can be more of a facilitator and play more his game, I think is the idea and the concept. I will tell you guys this, as we're looking at what Rob Pelinka is going to do, how is he going to figure out, what are the best ways for the Lakers to improve this roster? Now I don't have to worry about a shooter. I'm going to read this quote. This is Anthony Irwin who put this out here. I'm going to read this quote for him. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on this. This is going to lie on the Pelinka part and the D'Angelo Russell part. In talking to sources close to the Lakers, Russell playing well in this role might make them a little more reluctant to part with him, as bench unit seriously struggled with Gabe Vincent at the helm. If this is actually who Russell can be for the rest of the season, the Lakers might get even more picky about who they trade him for, or would look to find a more reliable option than Vincent as part of a Russell trade. Okay. Let me I don't want to mix my words here. I don't think there's anything D'Angelo Russell can do to get him out of the trade conversation. I don't. I think the fact that he is an expiring contract may have some interest to other teams out there. Brian Windhorst was on Friday. I asked Brian, what's his trade value in the market? There isn't value. His value is he's going to be a commodity because his contract is coming to an end. He's going to be a commodity because the Lakers have a couple first rounders that they can throw in there, and they want draft compensation in order to take a guy like D'Angelo Russell, and they're kind of building for the future, I guess you can call it. I think, what was it? A week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, I had Trevor Lane on. Trevor Lane, Lakers Nation. Do you think D'Angelo Russell will be a Laker by the time the trade deadline is done? Before I could complete my sentence, Trevor Lane's like, no, he's not going to be a Laker. Listen, I don't know how much this changes the narrative now that you got a player in Knecht that could potentially be your starter. You got now D'Angelo Russell can help the second unit. I think you still got to go out there and make a move. I still think there are holes with this Lakers roster. I'm not sure if Rui Hachimura, I don't think you could depend on him. Jarred Vanderbilt, God bless the guy. We haven't seen him since February 1st, 2024, earlier this year. You need more players that you can rely on, and I still think D'Lo's going to be traded. I still think D'Lo's going to be used as a chip, and I still think it's the responsibility of Rob Pelinka in the front office to say, listen, we might have got lucky with Dalton Knecht. He might have checked the box that we didn't know was going to get checked this year, this early in the season. But there are other areas to this Lakers roster that you got to compare yourself. How far are you away from the Thunder? How far are you away from the Celtics? How far are you from the Cavs, who whooped your ass in that game against Cleveland, early in the season, game 4, game 5, or whenever that was? That's the question Rob Pelinka's got to be asking himself. It's not just necessarily, well, I think we can hold on. I think we could be top 4, top 5 in the Western Conference. That's great. But where are you if the playoffs started today? What's that going to look like? How do you match up against Minnesota? Do you like your matchup against the Denver Nuggets? And that's why I think they still got to be ultra aggressive come trade deadline. And I'm just not buying this whole, well, because D'Lo's coming off the bench and because he's, accepting that role, he's less likely to be traded. I'm not buying that. Maybe you guys are, but that's not coming from me. Or that's not how I look at it. All right, let's read some of these comments here. Mike Lopez, would you give D'Lo an extension if he's willing to stay with a second unit? No, I'm not. I'd play it out with D'Lo. That's what I would do. I'd play it out with D'Lo, or very simply put, I'm gonna try to shop the guy. Listen, I got these 2 picks that I can dangle around. You're not going to get this lucky again where you just happen to get Dalton Knecht with the number 17 pick. Now is literally the time to be aggressive. And I don't think anybody is going to want to hear it. Let me tell you who doesn't want to hear it. What I don't want to hear, and I don't think Laker fans should be okay with this as well, nobody is going to sit there and accept the fact, well, you can't buy a home that's not for sale. Well, go get a better interest rate, okay? Move more inland. All right? There's a way to buy a home. Maybe you got to move out of the state. Nobody wants to hear that quote after this trade deadline. They don't. And listen, and the reason why I'm kind of bold here and I'm being a little bit more aggressive with this as well, Lakers look like they got a pretty good team. And I know this team's going to get better once Vando comes back. All right, speaking of Jarred Vanderbilt, man, I got some concerns with Vando. Let me do this, and then I want to talk a little bit about the NBA. Talk about actually specifically about the Eastern Conference. I took these notes yesterday, and as you guys can tell, it's going to be a very Laker-centric, NBA-centric show. So, anyways, I'm feeding the people what they want. This is what the people want. I'm going to read this here real quick, and Vando had. I think Vando can really help this Lakers team. I really do. And by the way, this is kind of a side note here, but I want to give credit towards it. I give credit towards Cam Reddish. I know a lot of people aren't going to talk about Cam Reddish. I know a lot of people, they don't care about his game and everything else. I appreciate what Cam has done over these since he kind of got an opportunity to get off the pine and he's got thrown into the starting lineup. I think JJ Redick is basically, he's rewarded him with, we don't need you to score. They kept saying this on the starting in the broadcast yesterday. I love listening to them. Billy Mack and Stu Lance. Known those guys for a number of years. Really respect what they do with the broadcast. But I love what they did yesterday. Yesterday they kept going out of their way saying, look at all the starters. Everybody's in double figures. Everybody's over 17 points, blah, 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 except Cam Reddish. And then Stu would go out of his way and be like, and he's playing his role perfectly. And this is exactly what Cam Reddish is supposed to be doing. And you should compliment Cam Reddish for always being, an on-ball defender and getting his hand in the passing lane and trying to do this, trying to do that. You got to have guys on your team that's their specialty. That's Jarred Vanderbilt's specialty. And we have not been getting an update from JJ Redick in regards to Jarred Vanderbilt. I don't know what that means. When we got the Christian Wood update that he's going to be out for, I think 4 weeks, he's going to get reevaluated, something along those lines. He had a setback. Somebody asked, what about Vando? And he said, no update. The guy has not played since February 1st, 2024. Remember, Vando last year signed a 4-year, $48 million contract with the Lakers. I was going through contracts last week, and I'll say, that contract's not a good contract. That one I don't believe in. This one, you're overpaying. And I was looking at guys like Gabe Vincent, guys like, who else was on there? Rui, I think, is another good example. And Vando's contract, the problem with Vando, it's not that I don't think this guy can play and can't help the Lakers. He's just never in. He's never in. This is a little bit old, but this is kind of what happened with Vando over the course of the last month, or a course of the last year, let's call it. And I guess my question is can we depend on Jarred Vanderbilt? I guess the good news is it's only November 20th, but damn, I feel like we've been talking about Vando coming back for 3 years. That's how long it's felt like. Dave McMenamin had reported this in the offseason. So last year was the right foot causing a miss most of the season last year. That was the loss, or that was the win that the Lakers had against the Boston Celtics. So in the offseason, right foot, midfoot issue, he gets it taken care of. And then Dave McMenamin had a quote. So as long as we're going in, you're going to be off your feet anyway. Let's go look at the left foot. And there was a bone spur in there as well. So he had both of those taken care of. There is no report, nothing out there of when Vando returns. Nothing. Like I've been looking, and obviously all these beat reporters and everybody else, they would be on top of it if anything happens. But I don't know when this guy is going to come back. I would just tell you the good news is, and I'll use Cam Reddish as an example. When he does come back, you got a couple pretty decent defenders now that you can use very strategically. And whether Vando comes in the starting lineup now, I don't know. We'll worry about that once he does come back. But it's been crazy to just kind of watch this all unfold with Vando, and he's still not a Los Angeles Laker. Every time I see that guy, I'm watching him 100%. I'm just watching him inside of or on the sidelines, just sitting there and, obviously just being a cheerleader. He can't do anything more, just being a cheerleader. All right, let's take a look at some of these chats here, and then I want to get into the NBA. The Sliwa show is a good treat in the morning. Thanks, Mo. AR, you've done this a couple times. You're throwing out these supers there. I appreciate that. Very, very nice of you. Cheers to you on this morning. Cheers to everybody else. Good cup of Joe right there. Sliwa show, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on YouTube, exclusively on YouTube. So thank you all for hanging out. Please subscribe to the channel if you guys don't mind. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. Sliwa's a hard worker. Not really. I got to be honest with you. I think he cuts corners. I'm going to have a conference call with Sliwa this afternoon at 2 o'clock just to kind of talk about how he's using his time. You know what I mean? Personally, if I had the ability to, I'd can his ass. But he's under contract for a year. So I can't do anything until after, because of the collective bargaining agreement. I can't do anything until after July 1st with Sliwa. But that freaking guy. All right, can I give you guys a quick pet peeve of mine? I don't know how much you guys see this, and I don't know if you guys care about this or you don't, but I'm going to throw it in there anyways. Listen, if I got a pet peeve, let me share it with my people. One of the most annoying things in the NBA, and you guys know I love the NBA, okay? Watching Boston-Cleveland yesterday. Of course I'm going to watch Boston-Cleveland. You kidding me? Phenomenal matchup. Darius Garland couldn't hit a shot if his life depended on it. What was on after? It was Memphis was playing. Who was Memphis playing? They're getting their asses kicked against Denver. Russell Westbrook throwing dimes to DeAndre Jordan. It's pathetic. Yeah, I love the NBA. One of the things I can't stand in the NBA that's so annoying. What's the point of the NBA sending out those reports that they made a mistake? Like, what's the point of it? Why don't they just kind of have an internal meeting within the NBA and the referees and the people that run the league and the head officiating crew and all that, and just say, hey, FYI, got a little bit of issue here. Towards the end of that game, here's what you did wrong. You didn't call this, or that should have been a foul, or this guy traveled, or whatever the case is. Reason why I'm bringing this up right now, I think it's so random, and I think it's actually kind of comical at the same time. But this happened in the last couple of days, if you guys remember this. Jason Tatum hit a buzzer beater against the Toronto Raptors, and I think they were tied 123 apiece, 121 apiece, whatever it was. Tatum, little step back, hits a three at the Garden, and the Boston Celtics win. The next morning, a report comes out from the NBA. Hey, guys, just an FYI, that was really cool. We screwed that one up. Tatum traveled. Okay. Does that mean anything? Are Toronto Raptors fans now feeling better that happened? Like, are they feeling better? Giannis had a turnover late in the game. It was a 1-point win over the Houston Rockets, and with 20 seconds left, I think he grabbed a rebound. I don't know what to call it. He stepped out of bounds. I don't know what it was. Something happened with Giannis. There was a report the next day that said, hey, guys, we kind of screwed that one up. Giannis created a turnover. We should have called it. Our bad on that one. So is Ime Udoka and the rest of the Houston Rockets now saying, hey, guys, I know we lost that game, but the NBA said that we screwed up, that they screwed up, so we should all feel better about ourselves. The latest one, which is my new favorite one, Julius Randle had a game. By the way, these are all literally the difference of winning the game and losing the game. Julius Randle had a play a couple days ago. No Kevin Durant for the Phoenix Suns. They're just trying to survive without KD. I think they've lost three or four in a row, something along those lines. Julius Randle has a play, shakes off whoever his defender is, hits a three at the buzzer. Anthony Edwards, Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert, everybody's all over him. Here's Julius Randle, traded from the Knicks to the Minnesota Timberwolves, trying to have an impact on the team and everything else. Report comes out the next day. Hey, guys, Phoenix, just a heads up. I know you guys lost, but here's the good news. Julius Randle traveled. We just didn't call it. What is the point of these NBA officials and the league office sending this report the next day saying we screwed up, but you still lost the game? I just don't get it. I really don't. What? Just have internal meetings. By the way, this is the best quote from Julius Randle when he was told the next day that he traveled. He was asked about it. Here's what he said. Julius Randle said, too late. Should have called it then. Then he said something to the effect, I honestly didn't even know. My wife, she just told me. I was just like, I don't care. It's over with now. Well, of course he doesn't care. He got the game winner, and he was allowed to take 3-4 steps before he hit that game winner. That's my only thing. Listen, I know it's a pet peeve, all this stuff, but it's just something I don't think it does anything for anybody. Have those conversations internally. Tell everybody that you screwed it up, but don't tell. What do you got to tell the public for? What fan base out there is feeling? You think the Houston Rockets or the Toronto Raptors or the Phoenix Suns feel good that you told them that they screwed up? Of course they don't. Of course they don't. All right, let's look at people agree with me on this. Do they disagree? This is the version of punishing the there literally is no punishing the referees. If you want to punish the referees, here's how you would do it. Listen, let me kind of properly explain this. I don't think referees are they're gonna make mistakes. That's gonna happen. If you're thinking for something to be flawless, ain't gonna happen. Okay, that's why there's the reviews and they're trying to correct it, all that stuff. But if you really want the referees, if you want to punish the referees, maybe if that's what you're looking to, why don't you have the head crew chief at the end of each game answer some questions from the reporters? Hey, what happened in this situation? You didn't see this. Why did you call this technical foul at the end of the game? If you want to put a mic in front of them and let them explain their side, that I don't want to say is punishing them, but I think that's probably a better way of doing it. They're never going to do it. They're never going to do it. All right, here we go. Let's see what else we got here. SLI was on a team-friendly deal. We will cut his ass before he even knows it. We will cut his ass before he knows it. Sliwa, do you think these refs are betting? No, I don't. Let me get in on that action. Slee, where's the best? Okay, I'm going to promote this here real quick. I'm going to use this as one of the Ask Slees. You got questions for me? Start putting them in right now. Ask Slee on Wednesdays. I'll get to a couple of these, so we'll do that right now. And then I want to look at the Eastern Conference real quick. I got one more thing on Deion Sanders that I want to throw in there as well, and then we'll kind of preview what we got coming up tomorrow. I got Mark Medina coming up tomorrow. Best coffee place down there. There's a really, really good coffee shop. Got a few locations called Bird Rock. Badass coffee, really, really good coffee, Bird Rock. They got a location. I think the one that I usually go to is out in Torrey Pines area, which is right next to that Torrey Pines hike. Listen, I don't know. I don't care where you guys live in Southern California, but that area, that Torrey Pines area, as I shake the entire desk, that Torrey Pines area, just incredible, beautiful. But that's one good coffee shop. Let me think of another one here. Lofty is another one. Better Buzz, I think it's called, is another coffee shop that's got locations all around. Great coffee, just like LA. I'm in Pasadena. Every time I'm in Pasadena, I got my go-tos out there as well. Great coffee shops. All right, let's see what else we have here. The NBA and use the refs to affect games. Why would they ruin their plans? I love that. That's like the one thing every Middle Eastern person, anytime you talk sports with them, it's Vegas, bro. It's Vegas, bro. Always. I'm like, can we just watch the game? It's Vegas. Everything is fixed. I'm like, okay, we're in the third quarter here. 6 minutes left to go. Just let the game go. Let's see what else we have here. What's your go-to coffee order? Jay, I'm going to tell you this, man. I'm a simple man. I am a simple man. I just get a cup of coffee with a little bit of milk. So anywhere I go, typically I throw some almond milk in there. I don't even know why, but I've been doing it, but I'm getting some kind of milk. You want to throw some regular milk in there, throw in some, I don't care. I just want a cup of coffee with a little bit of milk and I'm out of there. I'm the best person to have in front of you in line. You guys ever go to a coffee shop? Go to a coffee shop and you sit there. This is my favorite. We'll take the one that everybody knows. Okay, everybody goes to Starbucks. Somebody want to explain to me, I'm sitting there at Starbucks and there's 3-4 people in front of me. And the people in front of me walk into Starbucks like they've never been there before. Like, oh my God, such a beautiful place. I'm like, there's a Starbucks every block. What are you looking at the place for? It's the same menu everywhere you go. Is that good? I'm like, what? Where are we? It's Starbucks. Grab a cup of coffee and go. When I go, I'm ready to go. I got my card ready to go. I just tell them, give me a pike, a medium pike, throw some almond milk in there. I got my card. I'm hitting it, and I'm out the door. I'm the person you want in front of you at a coffee shop. Everybody else, what are we doing here? What are these people doing here? Take 15 minutes to order a coffee. It's the same. You're walking into the same place every time. They didn't just change the menu. All right, let's keep going here. Oh, that's a good idea. Have you hit up Yeti for a sponsorship? No, I have not hit up Yeti. Not hit up Yeti. Got a lot cooking on the sponsorship front. I got to be honest with you guys. Things are going to happen, but yeah, here's the good thing. I'll tell you guys a little bit about the Sliwa show and Hoops Talk business. Kind of put myself in a position where I got such a long-term plan for the channel and the show. I have such a long-term plan of where I want to take this that I'm trying to be very strategic. I really am. And I'm not desperate. You know, I don't have to have, don't get me wrong. Would it be nice to have real revenue coming in from the show, everything else? Of course it would be. Can I make this, would I have the ability to make this a real business today? That'd be great if that was the case. But I got a long-term plan. I have a good idea of what I want to do, and I'm not going to be desperate about it. I'm not going to, I got to make sure when I bring a partner on that it's a partner that you guys also look at and say, okay, hey, I'm down for that. No. I will support that partner because they're supporting SLI and I might have genuine interest in whatever their product is. I don't want to just put anybody on. And I'm going to say this again, you know, I think there's, I'm going to try to run the business the right way, and I'll do it the right way. And partners will come that are the right partners, and we'll have long-term relationships, which is how it's supposed to be. For those who don't know, I got 15 years of sales experience. I had 5 years in San Diego, 10 years up in Los Angeles at ESPN LA, where I was selling radio and digital and all that stuff. So I got a lot of knowledge in that background, or background in experience in that background, but want to do it the right way. So good question, and we'll go from there. All right, let's see what else we got. But the Yeti thing's it's a good idea. What I'd like to do, but I haven't figured it out completely yet. I am going to have, eventually I'm going to have members and members only, but I'm trying to be strategic with that as well. So that one's going to be important for me. I gotta make sure that you guys are getting the most amount of value. I want people to be on this channel and say, I enjoyed that time on that channel. And whether it's, hey, that's a good vibe, or I'm just getting the sports that I wanted, or this guy's got great guests on, or he's got a good conversation, a good dialogue going, or I love what he does with a post-game show, whatever it is. I got to make sure that when you guys are on here, that I'm giving you guys what you're looking for. That's important to me. That's very, very important to me. And if I could accomplish that, honestly, at the end of the day, I don't care. I mean, I'm more than happy to make the independent space my space moving forward forever. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. What's your favorite breakfast food to go with your coffee? We're doing a couple Ask Slees right now. So for those who don't know, on Wednesdays, just take us some questions from the people that really have nothing to do with sports. Okay, my favorite thing with coffee, guys. I mean, I don't know what you guys want me to tell you. I'm not even a huge sweet tooth guy. How do you not have a pastry with your coffee? I don't do it every morning. It's like more like on a Saturday. You walk up to the coffee shop and you're sitting there and you're saying to yourself, you're starting to look, some of those small boutique coffee shops, they got the croissant. Almond croissant to me is the best of the croissant world. Almond croissant to me, it's like, everybody get out of the way. I got to elbow people to get out of the way. But you get an almond croissant to go with your cup of coffee, go bite for bite. Let's see what else. That banana nut wall bread. You guys know what I'm talking about? Or walnut bread. The walnut. Yeah, am I saying that the right way? Banana nut bread, whatever that is. Get some of that with your coffee. I'm a pastry guy with my cup of coffee. It's a great question. I used to joke around. Jorge at 710 ESPN. You guys know Jorge was on the board when we were doing the Trav and Sliwa show. And him and I can drink coffee at any time. And him and I, if a donut came in or some kind of pastry, the first thing we did, we went and got a cup of coffee, and we were having coffee with our pastries. All right, let's see what else we have here. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. And this is a one-man operation. If you guys just give this, a second here, we'll make it happen. It's only going to get better. All right, let's see what else we have here. Any other questions you guys got for me? And then I want to. All right, here's what we got. Slee, can I get grandfathered in the members only? Also, will there be jackets? I don't know yet. Okay. I'm not sure yet. I'm still trying to figure all that out. Probably overthinking it on the member stuff. I've been thinking about that stuff for a while. Okay, what's going to look like? What would the price point be? All that stuff, but that's okay. I'd rather do it the right way than rush into anything. What's the rush? To be honest with you, I have been trying to grow this organically in the right way. Okay. Mike Lopez. Mike, I apologize. Slee, don't forget the young. Let me say this right now, and we'll go back to Lakers for a quick second, and then I'm going to hit on that Deion thing. Lakers, they're 10-4. They got some winnable games in front of them. What's the game coming up? I actually wish I was going to tomorrow's game, but I'm not going to be in LA. I'm going to try to go to Saturday. I'm trying to see if I could be there on Saturday. But Orlando tomorrow, the Magic, if I'm correct, who don't have Paulo Banchero, I don't think they have Wendell Carter as well, or he's questionable for tonight's game. But Orlando, who doesn't have Banchero, still playing good ball. It's going to be a tough game coming up tomorrow. It's going to be actually a fun game. Orlando's 9-6. They've won 6 games in a row. So we'll spend a little bit more time tomorrow previewing that game and everything else. We're not going to do it right now, but we'll spend a little bit more time tomorrow doing that. Well, what I was going to say to kind of go with the comment here is, yeah, there's other players. Everybody wants to see the youngster get an opportunity, and he may get that opportunity. Right now, I think more importantly for the Lakers, just keep trying to stack up wins. Okay, I got one thing here that I want to do, and then we're going to get out of here. Deion Sanders. I don't know if you guys saw this. Michael Irving was on yesterday with Colin Cowherd. And I don't know how much you guys are following college football, but I remember a couple weeks ago, I was looking and I'm like, I do that weekend preview, and I'm looking and I'm like, Colorado's, what's their record? They're top 17, top 20 in the country. I'm like, and nobody's talking about Colorado. Colorado's got a chance to play for the Big 12 title game. They got a chance to be a part of the college football playoff. You guys remember last year when they got off to a good start, and my God, you couldn't churn and without somebody talking about Deion Sanders, without somebody talking about Colorado football. And then you had all the College game day. It's like, all right, we're going to go broadcast we're going to Colorado to broadcast the game. And the big show that they got from Fox Sports, we're going out there as well. Everybody just started following Colorado. So there's some reports out there right now that Mike McCarthy, there's a good chance he's going to get kicked out of Dallas. What the hell's going on in Dallas? Just a complete shit show. There's reports out there that Mike McCarthy is going to, when the season ends, he's going to get fired. Well, Michael Irving was on, what show was he on? I mentioned he was on Colin Cowherd. And Michael Irvin says, basically, to Colin Cowherd, I'm going to read the quote here. I believe 100%, and I could tell you good sources have told me, great sources have told me, that's all I can say without violating anything else. And the conversation was, would Deion Sanders have interest in going to go coach the Cowboys, specifically if the Cowboys use their first rounder on Shedeur Sanders, obviously Deion's son? Can I just say, without breaking down whether that's the right move, it's not the right move, without telling you where Shedeur Sanders, I was seeing in a mock draft, he would probably go top 5, somewhere around those lines, without getting into any of that, without me knowing if Deion would excel in college football or in the NFL or not. You want to talk about must watch. You want to talk about the attention. You think the Dallas Cowboys already get a lot of attention? I mean, geez, every time I tune in, it's something about the Cowboys. It's a dumpster fire. I don't know what the hell's going on. They had issues with their stadium. You got the metal falling before the game, a couple hours before the game starts. What happened was a couple of weeks ago, CeeDee Lamb can't catch the ball because they didn't close the blinds and the sun was shining. I don't know what the hell's going on in Dallas. You literally can't make up these stories. But how much entertainment, I can't tell you, would Deion be a good coach in the NFL? I have no idea. With Shedeur Sanders, if he's drafted by the Cowboys, would he excel? I have no idea. But my God, would that be, entertainment value at its absolute peak if Deion Sanders ended up with the Dallas Cowboys? All right, let's take a couple more of your comments here, and then we're going to call it a day. When I say call it a day, basically what I mean, call it a day here, and then I'll get to work on some of the other stuff. SLI and Trevor Lane, best Laker podcast. Let me tell you something about T Lane. Love Trevor. Very, very good dude. As knowledgeable as it gets. He's the man. He's phenomenal. Really, really good at what he does, and I'm always appreciative of his time whenever he comes on. Okay. Last thing I'm going to say, and then we're going to call it a day here. SLI, do you shadow box at Trader Joe's right after they ring the bell while you're in the store shopping? I do. It's a great question, by the way. And this will be the final question that we have. Of course, I shadow box. And there are people in line. I don't care who's in front. I don't care who's behind me. I turn around and I kind of use them a little bit like, you know what I mean? They have no idea what's going on. It could be a 67-year-old woman. And I'm just like, look, I'm not actually going to throw anything here, but I'm just working on the post-game show. And then she comes in with a jab, and I walk out of there after that. Tomorrow, here's what we got going on. Tomorrow, my buddy Mark Medina, who does a really good job covering the NBA and does a fantastic job of covering Lakers basketball. He's going to come on tomorrow. I think I got him on at 8:15 or 8:30. But he's going to come on tomorrow, and we are going to obviously continue to have this conversation about the Lakers, about Dalton Knecht, preview the Lakers-Orlando Magic game. So a lot of good stuff coming up tomorrow, but I will have a guest on tomorrow. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. You guys make the show really easy because there's so many good comments that are out there that just helps with the flow of the show. So thank you for taking the time today. We hit a lot on Dalton Knecht. We talked a lot about Rob Pelinka, how he's got to be feeling good about himself. A lot of good NBA conversation. So thank you for being a part of the show. If you guys don't mind, just take 1 second to subscribe and like the channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps me out, and we'll continue to grow this thing. So thank you very much for doing so. Hope you guys have a great rest of your morning, great rest of your day. Back on tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Thank you, everybody.